Welcome to the Jameela Adams Experience podcast. It's a place and a space for women over 40 to be inspired, encouraged, and heard. Your host, Jameela Adams, will talk about how life be lifing and how to find joy when overcoming challenges. You're invited to join the experience. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to this week's episode. We have a special guest. Her name is Barb Pastuszko from Best of Barb Wellness. She is a life and health coach for women over 40. What she does is gives them the tools they need to live their best lives. You can reach her on the socials at Best of Barb Wellness, and she'll be happy to connect with you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jameela, for having me as your first guest. I feel very honored and humbled to be here and to share with your audience. And as you mentioned, I am a life coach, and I work with women over 40 who are kind of wanting to up-level where they are in their life, and they're in a state of overwhelm. They're not sure where they want to go right now because they've been so busy just taking care of everybody else in their lives, whether it's their partner and their children and at work and all of that. And they've kind of lost a sense of themselves or their little bit of their personal power, and they're looking to rediscover their purpose. So that's what we do. We take ourselves on a journey, their journey, to getting back on the path to leading and living their best lives.
So in the process of doing that, how do you sit down with them, and what is the whole process of getting to that point of getting them on the path of living their best life? So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. What we do initially is determine what they want as an outcome. What are they looking for? And then the most important thing about that is their big reason why. And not just their why, but the why underneath the why. Why is it that they want what they want? And then are they willing to do the work so that they can see and make the changes that they want, whatever that outcome is.
So how long do you usually work with them? Is there a set time?
For the most part, my programs are a 90-day program, although I do have some that are a 1 month and a 2 month program. But I really feel that the best work that can be done with them is with a 90-day program, because then we really get into the meat and potatoes, like I like to say, because it takes them a little while, like maybe 1 or 2 sessions, to really open up and to really visualize the answers to the questions that they are being asked on, and also to become a little bit more familiar with doing the action steps after every session and getting more, I guess, truthful. Mm-hmm. Because we dig deep. Like, there are a lot of times where we're stuck on something, and it might take 2 sessions to get through whatever they're stuck on. And that could be, self-sabotaging behaviors, that could be limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs is usually the key element to what really blocks all of us. Mm-hmm. And so once we work on that and shift to a new belief, release the old belief. And sometimes, again, it takes a little while to get used to release that old belief.
Right.
That's when they begin to see the changes in their lives and in their daily habits. I mean, they might not see any life-changing moments, but they might start seeing some habits that are now very different from what they used to do.
Right. I think for me, the biggest challenge that I had, especially since starting my business, was dealing with imposter syndrome. And I've even talked about that on the podcast and even in my previous blog post. And it's sometimes you just don't feel like you don't belong. You're in a space, in a place that you don't belong. Is that also how you kind of turn it around for your clients is like making them aware of who they are and that they do belong in that space, in that place? Is that what one of the things you also work with too?
Uh, yes and no. I mean, a lot of them, the clients that I see, don't necessarily have imposter syndrome, but it is something that they feel that I guess they feel like they have to be someone else. And maybe that's kind of like imposter syndrome on a certain level. But it stems also from, I talk to them about how it affects me. Whereas when I was in the corporate world, I was always pretending to be someone else.
Right,
And
right.
I felt that it was most key for me to be behind the scenes and push everybody else forward because I didn't think I was capable enough or that I had any value or what I had to say had any value because, well, I was just an office manager. Or I was just an administrator. So a lot of my clients come into the fold and think, well, I'm just not a good enough mother, or I'm failing at work. I feel like I'm making mistakes, or I'm just not doing things right, and someone else is always better. And so we work on those beliefs, which are untrue, because when I ask them the question,
Mm-hmm.
is this true? Do you really think you're not a good mother?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think you're not a good partner? A lot of times when that question is tossed back at them, they'll say, well, no, I think I am a good mother. Like, and so they start thinking of all the reasons why they are a good mother.
Right, right.
So hence, you're not an imposter. You're just a woman who is also a mother, who's also a partner, who is also a coworker that just has a lot going on, a lot on her plate, very busy, and can sometimes be overwhelmed. And just give yourself the grace to know that, acknowledge that, and let some of that stress fall away.
Right. I totally get that because honestly, I believe that's what helped me deal with my issues because I had to talk with my son and I said, am I a basic? He goes, Mom, you are far from basic. And I'm like, he goes, look at what you've done. He goes, you raised us in a certain way without any major help. And even though the help was there, you practically did it by yourself. Not patting myself on the back, but for my child to acknowledge it, that was amazing because
Mhm.
I've always wanted to push, like you said, push people ahead. I'm my kids and my family's biggest cheerleader. Sometimes I don't want to be seen. I'd rather be in the background, like putting stuff together and pushing it out. And that to me was satisfying. But I always wanted my kids to get the acknowledgement, get the things that they wanted. Not always physical things, but just the support they needed and the guidance that they needed. But I did get down on myself as like, at the same time, though, I did acknowledge I'm not perfect. I can't expect you to be perfect because I'm not perfect. I just expect you to be productive, you know, excel at what you can, but don't strive for perfection because there's no such thing. So that was something I had to get over. And once I got over the need to be perfect, everything just opened up for me. My faith to get me through that.
Mhm.
But it was just like, wow, I really had to back away and say, you know what, things are going to fall apart. But the best thing you can do is pick up the pieces after they get done. So is that something else you talk with your clients as well?
Absolutely. It's so funny because and I'm specifically going to be talking about women because society today puts so much pressure on women to be perfect in everything that they do, uh, in every task that they do, and every um, role that they play. And it's interesting because that's exactly what we, like you said, we teach our children. You don't have to be perfect. And I said the same thing to my kids. I said, I would always tell them, I'm not hoping that you get straight A's, but if you know that you put 100% effort into whatever you were doing, whether it was in school or in sports, and you know that you did a good job, then that's okay.
Yeah.
We're all masterpieces in progress.
Right.
And if we were perfect, which nobody is, then what is there to strive for?
Right.
If you're already there. And so to me, there's no such thing as perfect or perfection. We're all perfectly imperfect.
Right.
And that's what makes us each uniquely special and individualistic, is that we are who we are and we do the best that we can. And as long as we do the best that we can, then we should be happy with that.
Right, right. And I think the other aspect of it, becoming an entrepreneur, we have to basically carry everything. I mean, I remember what it was like working in the corporate world, but since I, stepped away from that, and now I realize everything I do now falls on me. My business rise and falls because of me. Do you have that same challenge, or how do you cope with that? How do you deal with that?
Yes. I mean, first of all, when I started this business, I mean, the first thing that went through my head is like, what, am I crazy? I mean, this is sort of like, I'm in what we would call like the later stages of my life. And like, girl, like, you're starting a business like now. But it has always been a passion of mine for as long as I can remember, from my late teens and maybe even before that, to be of service to others. And I let that fall by the wayside for so long until I finally decided, I guess I finally woke up, and it just so happens that I had this epiphany at this stage of my life, before I realized that, you know what, this is the best way that I can be of service to others, is to become a life coach and use my own experiences, all the feelings that I've had, all of the experiences and the journey that I've taken to get to this point in my life, and use that to build and help and guide and support other women who are probably going through the same thing and just need that little support, that extra something, that person that'll just say, you're on the right track. You're a good person. You just need to focus, and here's what we can do to help you get to that end goal, whatever that is.
Right. That's honestly the same mindset on when I started my business, hence Jameela Adams at your service. I've always wanted to be of service to others. And I honestly believe that's why we're here. We are here to service and help others get on their journey.
Yes.
And I honestly believe that the people that we meet are either going to help or distract. So you have to find the right people that are going to either help or distract. And sometimes even the people that distract are actually the people that are helping you, because you have to turn it around and say, okay, I've been distracted for too long. I need to get on the right path and find the people that are going to help me. Have you noticed that in your journey as well?
For sure. I've been to a number of like Tony Robbins seminars and just so many different uplifting seminars. And one of the things that I got out of it is that if you want a certain thing in life, or if you want to achieve certain goals, then you hang out with the people that already have achieved those successes or have already achieved those goals, and you learn off of them. I mean, it puts the phrase keeping up with the Joneses. No, you're not keeping up with the Joneses. You're learning from the Joneses. If the Joneses are or they have what you want,
Right.
then you need to find out what it is that they did in
Mm-hmm.
order to get there.
Right.
And more than likely, they've had a lot of pitfalls, and they've fallen, and they've gotten up, and they've failed, and they've made mistakes, but in the end they got to where they were. And so that's, for me, that's the most important thing, is don't look at people to compare
Mm-hmm.
what they have and what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they have, if that's indeed what you want, or if where they're at in life is what you want,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a positive, and look for ways that you can achieve those same goals.
Right. I always found that comparison steals joy. It's a joy stealer.
Yes, it does.
You can't have exactly what other people have. You can attain something similar, but as far as like getting what they have, they have their own thing. If you can find something similar, but as I always say, stay in your lane and just be who you are, be the best that you can be. You can match them,
Absolutely.
and it's not necessarily that you have to match them. Because the way I see it, and I'll use my girlfriends as an example. All of us have different skills and gifts. I have a friend who's a hairdresser. I have a friend who's works at a call center, and I have a friend who works as a CNA. But all of their personalities help me develop who I am, because I learned something from each of them, and vice versa. So I learned from them what to do and how to handle things. And then you have people, you see them, you're like, learn what not to do, and do
Yes.
the exact opposite. Because either way, like I said before, you have people that will help or distract. So either way, you're on this journey to finding ourselves. Basically, we always have to resonate that mindset. I can do it. And sometimes, it takes a while to get to that I can do it positive, mindset. How do you work that out with your clients? It's like, because everybody needs to be filled up. So how do you fill them up to make them know that they are capable? They have the ability to do it.
Well, I have a lot of tools that I use that helps my clients find a little bit of that ease and balance. We talk a lot about um, journaling and expressing. If you can't really express yourself outwardly, then write it down
Mm-hmm.
and express it all on paper,
Mm-hmm.
if that's a way to release. We do a lot of meditation and some like breath work, and that's so important,
Mm-hmm.
because if we're trying to do things from a place of constant stress, then we get tired, we get overwhelmed, we get frustrated, we find that we come to a breaking point and we can't go any further. We hit a wall. And so for me, using some of these tools and teaching these tools to my clients is so important, to have them get into that habit. And I mean, I journal. Do I journal every day? No, I don't.
Right.
But when I really need to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scribbling in my book, and I'm just putting it all on paper. And sometimes I read it back. Sometimes I don't want to, because I try to let it go
Right.
and move on. But it is it is so important to let go of the things that you're holding on to, that keep you in that stressful situation.
Right. I journal, if not every day, then every other day. And I find that it helps me prepare the start of my day. And I keep two journals. One is my prayer journal. The other journal is my work journal. So like if I have something that's on my mind before work, I'll write it down. I spend time, doing my morning devotional and meditation. And that's what helps me just kind of get the day going. And I like I said, I do that on the daily, and it just helps me get the mind right. And so I do appreciate journaling. In fact, I went through my my closet and I found that I had over 7 or 8 journals just back to back to back to back. And I'm just like, you know what? Some of them I will read through. Some of them I just, I'm just like, at least I have them, because I always think about if I ever write another book or be involved in another book, at least I have like all these journals that I can take notes from and get inspiration or information about myself. So leading to that, have you ever thought about writing a book, or is that your next venture, or no? Or what is your next venture, I should say?
Oh, so book writing is probably not something that is in my near future. What I will be and what I am working on right now is putting together a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it's September, October release. And I really want it to be a community where women can come in and listen to stories, and I will be inviting women to actually send in some of their stories that I can share or talk about, or have them as guests if they so want to go that route, and just talk it out, because there's so many experiences that each and every one of us goes through, that sometimes we feel like we go through them alone.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that this there's all kinds of like things that go through my head and visions in my head about what I want with this YouTube channel. And basically I just want it to be a safe space, and for women to come in and share with other women. Could be lighthearted stories, funny stories, and just know that they're not alone, that they're not the only ones going through what they're going through. And I mean, that's how I felt. It's like, am I the only one going through this challenge? And heck no, I'm not. I just don't know of any other women, because I'm not putting myself into that space. So that's kind of what I want to do with that YouTube channel.
I understand. I mean, and congratulations on getting that together and doing it, because we definitely need to see more of us and out there and being seen and heard and talking about things that are going on in our lives. And what I appreciate, the honesty that that you're bringing, is that you're not alone. And it's good to be able to have that community, that space, and be able to just have that dialogue. Because I sit here and I think, well, how did this all get started? Because I wanted a place and a space for us to talk, as we're doing right now. And, to make sure that, like you said, we are not alone. And just to vibe off each other, to love on each other, and just build each other up. And I think that's something that's kind of missing, because unfortunately we are groomed to compete against each other. Let's face it, women be a little catty. It's just unreal. I want to help build. I'm not trying to tear anybody down. I don't want anybody to fall by the wayside. I want all of us to have equal footing. Everybody has a story, because everybody may relate to the story. And that's one of the best ways to do it, obviously, is to voice it this way on this platform and also on your YouTube channel. So congratulations to you on that. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, and good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's funny, because the more I talk about it, the more I'm speaking it into existence, and the more I know that I, as a business person, I mean, I have my unconfident moments, if that's a correct word. And this YouTube channel project is a big thing for me.
Right.
Because I want to be able to represent not only myself, but other women in the proper light. I want to be able to empower other women to find their voice and use their voice as I have now found mine. And I'm trying to use my voice for good. So yeah, it's exciting and scary and all of those things all at the same time. But fear is just excitement on pause. So there we go.
And it's so awesome that you say that you have a voice, because that's my tagline for my business. You have a voice, use it. And I think all of us have that voice. We just need to find ways to get it out so that way people can hear it. And I just love that. You just don't know how much I love talking to you, because this vibe, I'm in awe. So I'm happy that we can sit here and talk about our new endeavors and share ideas and just grow. And that's the whole point of this, is to grow a community. So with that being said, if you don't mind telling us where we can reach you, Barb.
Well, I can be reached. I'm on a couple of platforms. So on Instagram, I'm at Best of Barb Wellness. So folks can reach out to me there. And on Facebook, right now, I'm just attached to my name, Barb Pastuszko, and soon to be a YouTuber in the YouTube world. I haven't. That's the one thing I need to figure out is a title for this epic project that I am going to be starting. So I can also be found on LinkedIn under my name as well, so people can reach me there. And then, of course, I have my email address, which I imagine it's just bestofbarbwellness@gmail.com.
Okay, great. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join me today and all of us. So with that being said, I appreciate you, and I'm so thankful we had that chance to meet and talk. And so I look forward to having you on again, and maybe we'll have a roundtable. I plan on having multiple guests. That is the goal. So we'll keep that out there. We're going to put it up to the universe. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out, and I definitely look forward to seeing more things to come from you. And I'm just happy that you're here, and thank you so much. Do you have any parting words?
I just want to say thank you, Jameela, for allowing me to use my voice to hopefully inspire other women to know that they are enough and they are worthy and they are capable of doing anything that they set their minds to.
Awesome. Thank you for joining the Jameela Adams Experience. Remember to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, and be encouraging. But most of all, be you. Take care, and I'll be chatting with you next week.